Go ahead. Sorry.
So these 4 dudes get captured by these Indians. They take them and they make them run the gauntlet. So that was one thing they would do when they would capture prisoners. A lot of these tribes would make you run a gauntlet like right away. So the whole town would come to the bank of this river with these 2 dudes they captured on canoes.
Yeah. And
one of them, by the way, Stark, in the Revolutionary War would come up with the term "live free or die." Pretty sick.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, this is how small a world this was back then.
Shout out.
Oh yeah, true.
Shout out.
Well, Mary, you missed it. God damn it, dude, you're fired. Wait, how did you? Would you doze off?
Huh?
Yeah, I fell asleep.
He's not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
He's paying attention. He couldn't know I was doing a physical. He doesn't know my comedy's verbal and physical, dude. Physical comedy, dude. Welcome. So they did.
So the whole town comes
What's the
out.
gauntlet?
Gauntlet is where the townspeople, mostly young men, line up 2 rows and make you run the gauntlet.
Oh, they're making.
And they hit you with sticks and fuck with you the whole way.
I thought they were. So you get caught by the Indians, they'd make you do a gauntlet.
Yeah, the Indians would make you run the gauntlet.
Did we have a gauntlet?
As a prisoner. No.
I mean, not we, but they're like, did fucking.
Yeah, did the good guys? Did the good guys have
Did
it?
the settlers have a fucking gauntlet?
No, I think they probably just
Killed you.
executed Indians, I'm sure.
So you had to run through.
Yeah, they handed you a stick that you had to hold. So
Okay.
you couldn't like block. You had
Yeah.
to like hold a stick and run through a gauntlet. And they would all just hit you. Now they tried not to hurt you. They tried not to kill you, I mean.
They wanted to.
They just want to hurt you. They want to fuck you up. But the Indian who captured them, who was the chief of this tribe, told them some things to say
Yeah.
in their language that would like make it easier on them, which actually translated to like, I could fuck up everybody in here. Hilarious. So the first guy ran through and was like, Tahini Gaba hop up to Guinea. Like he just screamed
talking shit.
He had no idea. He was
And they're
in
just
there.
fucking cradling the crossballs.
dude.
Just like, what you?
The second guy came through and his chant was, I could fuck all the women here. Like while he's running through. And then he started getting hit hard enough that he started fighting the gauntlet. He dropped the stick and just started swinging. And they let him go. They were like, all right, hilarious. We're not going to hit him anymore.
Oh, he's also probably crying, be like, I could fuck all the girls in here, please.
Dude, just running through like,
Please let me
"I'll fuck anybody here.
Please let me fuck all the girls in here, please,
Yeah.
for the love of God.
So I was wrong on that part. The Indians were funny.
That's fucking
Obviously,
hilarious.
that guy in the
dude.
canoe was like, I'll hook you up.
Oh,
This is going to make things a lot easier. Just yell, I'm going to fuck all the women in here. Hilarious. That's I mean, that holds up today, that joke. That's a good bit.
it's pretty good.
That's a good bit by that Algonquin.
Oh, that's pretty fucking funny. How fun would it be to have a gauntlet, too? This is the thing. Like,
We did it in high school.
I know.
Gauntlet rules.
Yeah, this is what people do.
Yeah, it's an instinctive thing to make people run through a gauntlet.
And just fuck them up.
Just slap them the whole way. But yeah, then they did get a little mean
Yeah.
after that. So some of these tribes would have like you go cabin to cabin when you're getting indoctrinated, basically as tortured, like into being a prisoner. You get
Hazed. Yeah.
get hazed into it, which is like you go to this cabin, somebody will pluck a fingernail out. You go to the next cabin, someone will bite your finger off. Someone will just gnaw your finger off. One of the cabins was just one of the women just beat the shit out of you. You couldn't hit back.
Kinda
She
tight.
just beat you as hard as she could the whole time.
Really?
Dude, it was
Did
Then-
they cut your finger off yet?
eventually, yeah, this is
that
usually,
sucks.
and then there's some cabins where it's just little kids and they stab you a little.
Just
Light
Oh,
stabbings.
man.
And then eventually I think a lot of them would scalp you and then pour boiling water on where they just scalped you, which
It's hot, too. It's fresh off the fire.
yeah,
too.
and then just make you roll in like thorn bushes. They're just doing like really mean shit to people.
So you had to go get the aggro crap. This is global guts.
Oh, you got crushed. You got fucking crushed. But the Indians, a lot of these tribes, so that's another thing that is annoying. Obviously, I've said it 1,000 times. When people talk about Indians in America, they're always like, the Indians, like it's one group. These
Sure.
are just, some northeastern woodland tribes I'm talking about here.
Exactly.
Obviously, it fluctuates. But
Read up if you don't know about them.
some of the, they also, they all like loved being able to take pain. That was like their big fucking thing. Like if your mom cried while giving birth to you,
Yeah.
everybody in the tribe was like, you're a fucking fag.
Really?
Like that was that stayed with you. So even moms had to be like tough as fuck the whole time, like wild shit. And
So
they
it's
used to-
possible. It's possible for women to give birth, not even just like,
naturally,
even just kind of like, they complain?
not allowed to complain, dude.
Crazy. So it's possible.
The tribes had some good ideas, dude.
I'm just curious.
They had basically a quit you policy to women.
like knock off
Quit
the crime.
bitching, dude. Or your kid's gay.
So it is possible to, maybe, it doesn't, you don't have to fucking harp on it forever. Oh, go on. Sorry, please. Totally unrelated.
Also, one that made me laugh was one of these Indians like recorded how British people acted when they got hurt, which was wah, wah. Like that's literally how, like when we scalp them, they just go wah, wah. Me head. Oh, you got me head in. Oh, no.
So that's where the powdered wigs came from. They would go to scalp you, the powdered wing would slide off, and you'd just be like, and just pop off.
I wonder if powdered wigs were treated like black ladies' weaves.
Were they getting a fight?
If you touch them.
They would get two guys get a fight in the Senate. There'd just be like pieces of powdered wig everywhere.
Anyway, so that was
that's funny.
It's been fun stuff reading up on that.
So the gauntlet, though. So at the end, after a guy bit your finger off,
I mean,
a woman dominatrixed you, and then a little kid fucking needled you. What would happen? They would just be like, oh, like a roller coaster. Like, here's our impression of you being a pussy about this.
Pretty much. But there was also examples of dudes getting tortured and like laughing and making fun of the Indians. At which point, a lot of the Indians would kind of like let them live.
Like you roll.
Be like, yo, you're tough. Or another thing they would adopt. They adopted a lot because a lot of these tribes were like sustenance farming and shit like that, where they didn't have a lot of manpower, especially at this point with the colonists there. So they would just take dudes in.
Yeah,
but
like,
you're one of us now.
Bite your finger off first.
Like, bite your finger off and be like, all right, you can stay. There was one guy that got adopted and was like literally from that. Oh, dude, he got adopted by a dude slowly just because he obviously couldn't speak the fucking language. So he sat down and an old dude in a cabin started plucking his hair out. Like he likened it to like a bird, like a turkey, like just ripping the feathers out. This dude started ripping all his hair out and left a patch in the front. And he didn't realize it at the time, but he was giving him their haircut. That's how they cut hair. Barbershop in the tribe was rough, dude.
So he gave him the number 4 on the wall.
Yeah, he just ripped it straight out. Just an old dude ripping your hair out. And then the chief came in and was like, you're one of us now. And he was like, literally from that day, no one in that tribe treated me remotely different. Like all it took was the chief being like, he's one of us. And everyone was like, sup?
Sup, bro?
That was it.
Well, dude, also, too, it's like, I was trying to be like, well, could I be friends with people who bit my finger off and had their wife beat me up and yelled at me? It's like, imagine where they're like, all right, dude, we're going to let you loose. Now my other option is to live in the woods.
Yeah.
And first, just doing that alone without people who are going to bite my finger off and imprison me.
Yeah.
Just if there's anybody, they could be so mean to me and be like, no, but you're still part of the thing. I'd be like, thank you. Just thanks for not letting me fucking starve to death next to a creek.
One guy got adopted and he was like a slave and he was doing like farm work, and eventually he like threw his hoe into the river and was like, this is for women. And all the Indians were like, sick, this guy's awesome. We're gonna let him free. So the Indians did have cool fucking codes. He risked his life to be like, this is chick work.
This is girl work.
And they were like, you're right, that's chick work, dude. Go home.
You passed the test.
Yeah, and also
that would be sick at the Last Samurai, the final test. And be like, "This is fucking gay," and they're like, "Congratulations,
this is gay, are you? You're free, are you?" But they
too many minds. He's like, everything's fucking gay. Everything's fucking gay. They're like, yes, he's learning.
Yes, he's learning our ways.
That's fucking sick, dude.
The Indians
like, fucking girls.
Yeah, he threw his hoe into the river, and they were all like, "This is good."
Respect.
Very good.
He learns. There had been white guys out there that bit other white guys' fingers eventually.
He came home and started biting fingers.
No, I'm saying like,
fuck are you doing, dude? Like it's how you become a tribe. Biting fingers off that's like the 3rd or 4th reference they've made to it. So
Sebastian Younger left that out.
Safe to say that some of the natives were munching fingers hard.
For sure.
Gnawing your finger off.
Just an old gotcha. Just like, let me see your finger. Close your eyes. Bite your finger off. Like,
got your finger.
Oh man. No, I'm saying I wondered if any settlers joined. Because a lot of those dudes stayed with the tribes. Even people who ran away from settlements, they stayed with the tribe. I wonder if there had to have been someone who bit someone like John Smith's 3rd cousin. Definitely probably bit someone's finger off.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you hang around that culture long enough, you're gonna nibble a finger.
Well, it's also funny too. Like if so, like they have adopted like European dudes. So you're just like running. You're in the gauntlet. All of a sudden, you come to the next tent with a white dude in it, and you're like, dude, this shit's fucked up. And he's like,
yeah. He's like, I know, it's fucked up. Let me see your hand real quick. It's crazy. He holds up a hand. He's like, me too. But yeah, then they also, Robert Rogers, who the book's about, wrote down that he was like, there's also literally zero wealth disparity. Like everybody is the exact, like you can't, you're not allowed to do anything if your neighbor's poor.
Can't.
You got to help them.
Yeah.
Which, good quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easy to be that when you guys are all living in fucking tents, though.
Sure.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to be spreading the wealth when there's zero wealth.
Yeah, or it was also really physical back then, too. Like, you would be like, there wasn't like like Bitcoins and fiat currency. It was like, you have 6 goats, some guy has 2, and you're like, here, dude, have 2 fucking goats.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like, here, bro, have a fucking pelt.
Yeah, so they did have good shit.
I think they used to also do a thing where they would, whoever had the most stuff would burn all their shit. Well, it was they had little. I forget who it was, but they'd have a thing where like the dude at the top was ceremonially would just like get rid of all of his shit.
That's like Bill Gates giving to charity.
True.
It's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, they would back then. The Native Americans would give away like a large proceeding of all the stuff they had, then secretly develop a little shot based on your genetics.
Now, I'll tell you what. Speaking of somebody who stepped their game up, dude.
Who?
The Comanche.
True.
Bro, so Rogies posted something on Instagram yesterday about it. So I immediately downloaded the book and listened to it. I'm like halfway through it already. Did a lot of driving last night.
Yeah.
Bro, the Comanche were, you want to talk about some bad hombres?
Were they really?
Bro, every time I listen to people talk about, it's crazy. If you do any research into actually what Native Americans were doing, it's nuts. Dude.
Well, the Celtics were who were here
Celts
first.
were fucking.
Celts were here before Native Americans would go on.
No, the Celts were actually even mentioned in the book as also being complete savages.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a pretty simple explanation for why Native Americans were fucking fired up, rowdy boys.
Yeah.
They got agriculture about 4,000 years after Africa and Asia, and therefore Europe. So they were on the exact same trajectory historically. Like they just started building pyramids, they just started getting societies, but they were 4,000 years late.
Gotcha.
And then they run into colonists.
True. Yeah.
So that's what was really interesting about it was they were hunter gatherers. They were from the fucking Stone Age.
Yeah.
Running into today, essentially today. It was like 1800s.
Future men.
Yeah. So then you'd run into this tribe of dudes that were living like cavemen.
Yeah.
And they'd be rowdy, dude. Obviously, they're going to fucking throw shit at you.
The T levels are high.
T levels are out of this world.
I mean, dude, I was, up until a certain age, if I went to a movie theater, I would throw shit at people. Like, I would sit in the back and throw candy at the screen. Like, pretty recently.
Yeah, that's actually very funny.
You sit in the back.
You get a gummy bear stuck on there?
Oh,
come on.
Or if you sit in the back, and as soon as it goes all dark, you just go, boom, and you wing, it goes, bap, and you hear it just go, pop, 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 pop.
I would always try to fart as loud as I could at the quiet parts in a movie. Like, if you can anticipate a silent part.
Dude, it's the best.
That's very Comanche of you.
That
pretty
is
much Comanche.
Enemy of everybody, dude. I've been enemy of everyone.
Lord of the Plains. Lord of the Plains.
Dude.
Bro, let me break this down.
Yeah, break down the Comanche.
The Comanche fucking rule. Mm-hmm. They absolutely rule. They're ugly, short, shitty people that everybody crushed. So they came over, historically on the land bridge. That's where, how all people came to North America.
The Bering Strait?
Yeah. So they were up there.
Go on.
So they were up in the Rockies. They were up in the mountains, and then just forever they had been pushed down because they sucked. Yeah. Comanches, of everybody, were like, even amongst other tribes, they were known for their bad hygiene. They sucked. They were short. They never, So we see like the Northeast Native Americans is like, that's like what's on.
Yeah.
That's what you see is like these tall, slender, fucking athletic, sinewy, long motherfuckers.
Yeah.
These people were like more like Mongolians.
Really?
They're like short, squat, fucking brown.
Yeah.
Like fuckers.
Like Eskimos almost.
They looked, yeah, exactly. But
I didn't know that.
They were losing.
Comanches were like
no,
jacked,
Comanches
ripped,
were not
like
jacked.
Jesus bodies.
No, they're lads.
Really?
Comanches were pure lads, dude.
What?
And they were getting rocked by everybody until the Spanish came. Mm-hmm. Spanish, fucked around and introduced horses to North America. Horses were never there.
Yeah.
So all these different tribes got horses, and I think the Apache were munching them. The Apache weren't sure what to do with them, so the Apache were just crushing horses.
They're munching, yeah.
They were munching horses.
They're chopping them up.
That was good eating for a little while until the Comanche, those old fucking pussies that everybody beat up forever, just somehow got so good at using horses, like best horsemen in the world.
I mean,
and
dude,
then just
if you want to go for the Mongolian theory, that's muscle.
That's exactly what it was like.
That's genetic
and then
muscle
they
memory.
just let it rain on everybody, dude.
Oh, after getting just shit on constantly.
And not like they were even like, there was no, half of it was just for vengeance. Like this, for ancient vengeance. For like 1,000 years, they were just like, fuck these people. And just Comanche, they didn't build cities. They were nomadic. They just went around, and if you somehow came into the middle of the country, you got fucked up. And not just like, oh, you got, it was their rules to torture everybody to death. Mm-hmm. If there were women, they would gang rape them and then torture them to death.
Jesus.
Dude, they took this one lady as a slave, and white slave, and they, white slavery, and,
should have a little scoreboard every white slave on the crossface.
What's that, about 18 million to 1? All right, here we go now. A little comeback, a little rally caps. Here we go now. How about a little chatter over there? How about a little chatter in the dugout, whites? But this lady, she was pregnant when she was captured. As soon as she gave birth,
Wait, the white lady?
Yeah. She's in it.
2.
True, technically that was 2.
2.
Boom. Got another one. This was a quick one, though.
Yeah.
So she gave birth to this child. I think it was 7 weeks old when 6 Comanche men walked into the room, strangled it to death, but it lived. They put it back. They strangled it till they thought it was dead, put it back in her arms, like gave it to her like motherfuckers, and then it started moving. So they tied it to the back of a horse and rode it through cacti till it was ripped apart. They were wild, dude.
Yeah.
And like again, there's no redeeming. Like, the book tries to be like, well, they sang at night and they loved pranks, which was funny to be like, oh, they were dickheads when they were by themselves, which is really funny. But they were also the meanest.
Yeah.
Comanche were mean little dickheads.
Nasty.
It's fun to listen to. It's a really good book.
Damn, dude, that's pretty tough.
Yeah. Praise Rogies for recommending.
I read some of his posts, dude. He was in the sauna just bugging out on Comanches and being like, dude,
it is a fucking like. It's
sick.
wild to read.
I mean, dude, to start the idea of Rogan in a thing, meditating and just being like a Comanche on a horse.
Bro, he must have connected with the Comanches so much, dude. Little short, tiny guys, fucking riding horses.
True, dude.
Crushing people.
That's probably why he's going to. Is the Comanches around Texas?
Yeah, true.
He might be being called.
True. He might be called by that Comanche moon. Dude, I'm so fired up on Comanche right now.
Yeah.
They ride. They were the ones who would like ride on the side of the horse when they were in battles. You know what I mean? Where you ride on the side and shoot. Dude, they fucking ruled.
Fuck, man.
And all they were about was raping.
Well, that's the Mongolian blood.
They were just torturous rapers, dude.
That's the Mongolian.
And everyone's like, no, Native Americans were great warriors. It's like, dude, they gang raped prisoners and tortured them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like if you went to like the whatchamacallit, like the Celtic tribes in like Ireland. In other words, it was the same party going on.
Yeah, dude, just 1,000 years before.
Celtic tribes thought they were from hell. Like they conceptualized heaven and hell, and they're like, yeah, we're from hell.
We're the bad guys.
Like we're from hell, and their day started. It was some kind of weird thing where like their day was reversed. I mean, not like I know kind of the day starts at midnight, but it was something like that.
So they're on my clock. I'm still on that Celtic.
Something like that, yeah. Where they were
just
kind of
munch dinner right away. Just wake up and eat like a chicken parm sub.
Yeah, when you were born, they would just cry for you. They'd be like, "Oh, dude, it sucks." And when you die, they'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude,
get out of here,
back in the nether realm." So
that's
yeah, dude,
cool.
they were like nasty motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, the Comanche, Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, dude, there's literature that says they try to claim the Celts were the Native Americans. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty
really?
That's like Irish spazzing.
I like that.
No, we're Native.
We're actually
Irish
slaves and Native Americans, and we're hammered.
Yeah.
No, but it does do the thing where it also was interesting is in the book they're like, look, if you want to talk about people's statues getting torn down, you see a Native American chief statue, you could pretty much count that guy first off had slaves and then also led like war parties that raped whoever they caught and tortured.
Really? It said that in the book?
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude, this guy's going hard. What is this?
Damn.
Must have been early in time when this guy wrote. I don't know when the book was written.
Yeah.
He better not have written that recently, or he's out of here. I don't like it.
Yeah, man, he can't be talking.
But it was a fucking
Native American statues.
He brought up the Celts though.
Did he?
Yeah, in the book. Yeah, he was like, they were that. They were the people that like when the Romans came up to England, they were like, who the fuck are these dudes?
What the fuck is this?
Who are these retarded guys? Sick fucking book though. Definitely recommend it. It's way better than War on the Run.
I gotta peep that out.
War on the Run's like The one I'm reading about Robert Rogers.
Yeah.
It's the most listening to. Pardon me.
Same thing.
No, very different. Very different.
You have information go through the ether and into your brain.
Pardon me?
It actually might be, audiobooks might be better.
I don't think they are.
I think
I'll forget people's names and have to rewind 30 seconds to try to get the name again.
I have laser focused
There's
attention.
no chance you do, dude.
I have laser focused attention.
There's no chance, dude.
No, it's crazy. It's unbelievable how well I retain information. I don't really retain information. I store it all in the ether. No,
you want to derail my awesome Comanche talk?
No, I'm not derailing
it.
It's
too late.
We were talking audiobooks.
I kind of forget the Comanche talk now. I had some other good points.
It's in the field. It's in the ether. You have to channel it. Any idea you ever have?
Oh, they did the same thing as. So I was reading I was listening to fucking War on the Run, and it's very dry. It's very like they left camp with 3 satchels of blueberries, 6 gunpowder sacks,
Count
8.
Me out.
It's a lot. It's a lot to listen to. But then this one's just purely like they did the same thing though. The lady who was a slave to the Comanche, she beat the fuck out of the one lady, and the Apaches or the Comanches just surrounded her and were like sick. And then she beat the shit out of the old lady who was also her master, and they were all like, "All right, you're pretty chill. You can come hang out with us, dude." They did have that. That's like a common string. Like if you were a Native American slave, all you had to do was while out.
So you're saying if I were ever...
You had to risk the worst torture known to man.
I was about to say, yeah. So I wonder... So if I ever somehow... And again, I don't think this would happen to me if I got lost on the reservation, but if someone else
they get you.
If I was to be accosted on the reservation...
If you get hammered at a casino...
I should just start fighting people.
If you're at a casino and the lights start disorienting
like the Mohegan Sun, yeah.
And then you get captured... you can get captured.
You could technically get captured.
Yeah, bring you downstairs.
True. So I should just start swinging.
You should immediately swing. And if you're at a casino and you're drunk and you happen upon a security guard, swing upon him. Dude. They'll do nothing but respect it.
Dude, you rule.
That's awesome.
Here's 500 in chips. Yeah. Get back out there.
Like you're one of us now.
I knew my bus driver's son hung out on an Indian reservation, and I used to always want to go there.
Really? I heard they were dumps.
Really? Nah.
Yes.
Our bus driver told us that his son was dating an Indian chick with huge tits, and I was like, "Damn it!" He's like, "Yeah, they go all there.
Fucking bus drivers rule.
Smoke weed on the reservation all day." He's like, "My son has it made. His girlfriend has big tits. She's a Native American." I was just like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
Bro.
Back in your story.
A lot of people don't think about this. So when we kicked it, it's another thing I'm trying to avoid. The fucking wheeze. The wheeze.
Well, you're talking about winners.
Well, true. It's hard for me to not associate that.
With winners.
Which was pretty sick. In the beginning of the book, they're talking about, so the Spanish, look, I'm going to get in my bag here. The Spanish were there.
Yeah.
The French were there.
Spanish were kind of running things, weren't they?
Spanish ran shit forever from like 15 to
16.
17.
Really?
Yeah. French were popping off down there too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, I think that's what Cinco de Mayo is about. It's a victory over the French.
That's good.
Surprising,
That's
right?
why I celebrate that.
Jamie, check that out for me.
Cinco de Mayo's French got into Mexico?
I believe it's over the French.
I feel like the French couldn't handle Mexico.
They didn't.
The lads must have pwned them.
The lads were like, damn, you guys, you want to talk lazy? Bring out some Frenchmen.
Yeah.
So.
Confirmed.
Thank you very much, Lemaire.
Confirmed.
Kill confirmed. I suppose it's been confirmed, yes. So the Spanish were in there, but the Spanish had they had conquered everything, all of South America, Central America, and then they were slowly making their way north. That's when they ran into the Comanches, or like those native tribes, the Apaches, the Comanches, and shit.
Kings.
The Short Kings, the land of the Short Kings, and they started getting massacred and tricked and shit. What was pretty funny is the Apache were all of a sudden. There's no record of what the fuck was going on there, other than you can see migrations of other tribes getting the fuck out of the way from the Comanches, which is pretty cool.
Fuck.
To be like, well, nobody wrote shit down. They were just wandering around in tents, murdering everybody for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Well, not 1,000 because they didn't have horses yet. But all of a sudden there was a huge influx of Apaches running. Mm-hmm. And they're like, where the fuck are you guys going? The Apaches were like, actually, Spanish, we really like Catholicism. Could you please set up some missions in our territory? And so the Spanish were like, holy fuck, dude, we never thought you guys were going to say yes to this, dude. Wait till you see how awesome Jesus is. We're going to bring up some missionaries. This is going to be fun. And it was actually just a trick for them to put basically embassies in Apacheria so that when the Comanches came down and definitely murdered and raped everybody, they would kill Spanish people too.
So that
they would go to war with the Comanches. So it was a pretty funny trick from the Short King Apaches.
Yeah.
But What was nice about it was talking about the settlers. That's how America colonized it. Mm-hmm. Like Spain went in with like missionaries, forts, very governmental, regimented, in intrusion into the land. The Americans just sent people.
Like dudes.
Like literally were just like no forts, no missions, just like people just building houses.
Go check that out.
Which, ironically, so the Mexicans invited settlers into Texas.
Yeah.
Which, eventually the settlers just took Texas.
Yeah.
But the reason they invited them there was to get a buffer zone between them and the Comanches.
Really?
So originally the Mexicans, which you hear people today be like, the Mexican-American War, it was another act of aggression from America where we took their land. Mm. Those fuckers invited us there so that we could be fed to the Comanche so they would stop fucking with the Mexicans.
Really?
And it ended up that the Americans were kind of rootin' tootin'.
True. They're slim.
They were like, bro, we'll fucking chill here. Well, we get raped and murdered every couple years?
Whatever.
Sick.
Texas fucking rules.
Texas does rule. That's when it became a republic, bro.
Really?
It's fucking sick.
So they fought off they were like, they buffered, and then they probably figured it out and were like,
well, yeah,
or
that
they
was,
didn't, or they were just
they figured it out. They figured it out. And, well, yeah, they kind of tamed the land a little, and then the Mexicans were like, why don't you give us that land back?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you come fucking take it?
True.
That's where that flag's from.
Yeah.
I think. Then the Alamo happened, which was a huge mistake.
Does the Texas flag say it's like, fuck off, Mexico?
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that's that was a funny thing watching Hell or High Water that you start to think about how that you really had. It's like and then these colonizers came. It's like, no, they kind of white people threw they threw poor white people at the problem. Rich white people threw poor white people at the problem, and we're like, here, go figure this out.
Yeah.
And then,
really, and that's what they're banking on, and that's what was cool in the book. It literally addresses like, the American approach to colonizing was like hope. Like they'd just be like, here's some dude that's just land hungry that lives in Boston. That's like, I gotta get my family the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
we're going to the plains. they get burned alive. But
it's also funny too how that still kind of goes. So you get the rich people who are like, yeah, man, we got a good deal for you. Go out there and do that thing.
Also, by the way, the blood meridian's not exaggerating. That's what I'm talking about. Level of that's what that book's about.
Of what they're up to.
Hunting Comanches.
Really?
Yes. That book, all those atrocities throughout that book, and like how horrendous the land was.
Yeah.
It's real. I thought I was like, man, this guy's really exaggerating, like jerking off to violence. No, dude. That was fairly similar to like the actual historical accounts of it. Pretty crazy.
What year was that?
Now, I know you guys listen to this for comedy, but boy, do I love Comanches.
The Lakotas had a sacred person in their tribe called the Heyoka who'd make fun of everything.
I would have fucking hated that guy. That guy sucks ass, dude. And he would hide behind it too, like comedians. Like, it's just a joke. He'd be like, Heyoka, dude, for real, stop.
Yo, it would be like roast battle
about my
every
wife's
day.
fucking tits.
It would be like roast battle
every day.
Every day.
You're a shitty Indian. You can't catch anything. Every day the Heyoka stands up.
Well,
like,
if you fucked up, they'd give you a fucked up name. You had to it would be your name until you prove them wrong.
Fucking Empire of the Summer Moon.
Yeah.
Dude,
really?
Dude, their names were like dog pussy.
Yeah.
It wasn't as magical as we like to think it was. It was like dog dick.
Yeah,
Come over here.
Well, when you read about what they did to each other, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, this idea that they were these peaceful people that were living together, living off the land, and everybody lived
Maybe
in
some
harmony.
were. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't
seem
last.
like it. Well, they got raided by the other ones.
Yeah.
Dog Dick and his buddies would show up and fucking drag you and your kids off in a horse.
They would go on raids just like the Vikings did. They were raiders.
Yeah.
Like the Comanches, especially the people that lived here, they were raiders. That's what they did. They'd get together in giant groups of horses. And the other thing they would do that's fucked up, they caught guys. Like they caught guys slipping, like some U.S. guys were trying to make their way across. They would cut their horses loose in the middle of the night. And so they would stampede their horses out so they'd never get their horses back. And then they would slowly follow them from a distance while they starved to death.
Jesus,
they would
man.
watch them and mock them. So they'd be on horseback at the top of a ridge, just, a few hundred yards away, laughing at them. And these dudes are walking, no water, don't know where they're going, no horses.
It's a guy from fucking Pittsburgh. Just walking. Just like,
walking.
God damn it. I've been to a baseball game.
Just wanted to pay for education.
Yeah.
Just the government was going to pay for his college. It's like, this is great deal.
God damn.
Now I'm out here starving to death in the plains.
Yeah.
And you don't see shit. You're just walking. It's just flat forever.
Yeah, it's shit.
It's flat forever.
Plains suck.
And there's no houses out there. This is the early days. No one had even moved there yet.
That was the scariest part of that book about the Donner Party, where there was like, the scary part about crossing the plains was like a kid would get off the wagon and like walk, they'd be lost immediately. The grass was high enough, you'd lose a kid and you couldn't stop. You'd be like, well, the kid's gone.
Oh, God.
They'd be lost.
Yeah.
It was like it was a desert with like grass that was up to here. So children were just gone.
Christ.
There were snakes. Everything sucked.
Everything sucked. Wolves.
Yeah, just
Mountain
a
lions,
dog
bears.
came and ate your family.
Pack of them.
Just a bunch of dogs carried your sister off.
Your mom dies from diarrhea.
Everyone's diarrhea, dude.
Oh my god.
You didn't know where it should go. Everyone's just shitting around the camp, drinking out of the water. Like, birds are falling.
Sucks,
Birds are
You don't
yelling
have
at
time to boil the water, so just drink out of the creek.
Shit blows. Dude.
Dysentery and
Now all of a sudden, Indian fucking Comanche start following you.
yeah, and they follow you slowly. They'll let you know they're around.
They're like, we're gonna rape you in about a week.
Yeah,
God damn it, dude. Your wife's nagging.
slowly circle
dude.
you.
She's
You're
got
not even
diarrhea.
gonna fight them off.
Look at them. That's a man.
Oh,
Oh no!
imagine the sourpuss on one of your wagon wheels breaks, and you're like, "How the fuck do I fix this again?" She's like, "Man,
You have no idea what you're doing.
what a sourpuss, dude."
Your wheels are made out of wood.
Explode.
You're making your way across the entire country on wheels made out of wood, with horses pulling you, and you hope the horses stay alive because you
Yeah.
only got a few of them.
And a full family.
Full family with kids.
And then you'd have a kid.
Oh yeah, along the way.
And they'd get
True,
pregnant.
yeah.
Your wife
Yeah.
would get pregnant on the way.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously, dude.
Well, that Cynthia Ann Parker story, the woman who was 9 years old when her
Yes.
whole family was slaughtered, and they would take the young ones and integrate them into the tribe because the Comanche lost a lot of children, a lot of mothers while they were pregnant. The baby never came to term because they were riding horses, so they're bouncing around all the time and they're fucking, a lot of impact. So their populations, it was very important to keep a high population. So they would bring in people that they captured.
That's what
as
the
long as they
Amish
were
do.
young.
That's what the
Amish do that
Amish.
too?
I've heard.
They go on raiding
I've
parties?
heard they snag kids.
They'll come down to Mechanicsburg. They'll raid us.
I heard if they see like a mom all drunk and fucked up. I've heard. I don't want to slur the Amish, but I've heard they'll fucking snag it. Yeah, they need some new blood, man.
Today's episode is going to be about Comanche Native Americans, and we may talk about some Satanist cult stuff that me and my mother did in Salem, Massachusetts. Happy Halloween. And just bleep that out. And also, I think by the end of this episode, you're going to get at least 5 reasons as to why we absolutely should call it Columbus Day and never call it Indigenous Peoples Day, or we can call it Indigenous Peoples Day presented by Christopher Columbus.
Dope.
So let's talk about Native Americans, American Native Americans, which are just the original Mexicans. And Shane, take it away. Zoom in on his face. No.
And then you're like, all right, go ahead, Shane.
Jay, take it on. No, I'm kidding. No, we can edit that out, whatever you want. But yesterday was Columbus Day.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Columbus.
Dude, Columbus fucking rocks.
I don't know what. I lived in Spain for a little, and people over there
Spain.
love him, dude.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And they were just getting wind of, like, him being a bad guy.
Yeah.
And they were just like, bro.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible what he, like, they were all
Let me ask
they'd
you
be
a
like,
question.
yeah, what happened was pretty bad, but he
Right.
took a wooden ship across the ocean.
Yeah. What? And he named them after girls.
And then he showed up and just was like, all right, you guys are doing what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. I have on a metal helmet.
Yeah, it's over.
That's what it is, dude.
Metal helmet.
I'm
It was
coming in
over.
with my fucking hat on sideways, and that's what it is. And you guys are going to
Yeah.
listen. Like, it's $14.92. Why are you still making underwear out of leaves?
Yeah, he's like, you
What
guys
are you
ever seen a
doing?
fucking horse? That's what I thought. You're going to do what we say.
Yeah. I would have fucking just been like, if I was Christopher Columbus, when I got off on the shores with that horse, I would have fucking taken that horse right into the shores, let all the Native Americans see me, and then just start sucking that horse's dick just to show them that I'm in charge. Just right in front of them, just on the knees, double barrel blowjob, and let that horse shoot its load all over my face, and then just get up and be like, I'm your master now.
Yeah.
That would work.
Absolutely.
That would hold up today. If I saw a guy pull up off a boat with a horse and
Yeah.
fuck it, I'd be like,
dude.
I'm gonna listen to what he's got to
exactly.
say.
Yeah.
He's got some ideas.
Yeah. That's what I would do at any of these protests. I was like, if I was at one of these protests and the cops were acting like dicks, I would just start jerking off their horses. And then what are they going to do? yeah. What are you going to do?
Hit him with a stick trying to grab a horse's dick.
Yeah, dude.
That's no good.
Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me, dude? What do you mean? You can't grab a horse's dick?
No.
You're from bum shit, Pennsylvania.
No. People just got arrested for fucking horses where I'm from.
Dude, I mean, what else? I don't think they can get COVID. It's too dangerous to fuck a human.
Shout out Perry County.
Shout out Perry County, dude. Mechanicsburg, PA, right?
That's Cumberland County.
Oh, my bad.
Please.
Yeah. So you read this book on the Comanches. What was the book called?
It was from the Joe Rogan reading list.
Yeah. Are you doing that?
No, but anytime.
Have you ever done Joe Rogan?
No.
Yeah, I mean neither.
No, I needed him, dude.
I just feel like
I needed him, dude. Hold on.
I
was in a meeting with Lorne Michaels and I was like, I'm definitely gonna get fired, and that's fine. I'll do Rogan next week.
Yeah,
and be bigger.
Yeah, yeah, and then it never happened.
I was just sitting there looking at my.
You were like, oh, did he?
One time, Rogan, come on.
It's dude, Comanches.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just do a quick overview. The Comanches are a Native American nation from the Great Plains, whose historic territory consisted of most of present-day northwestern Texas, eastern New Mexico, southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas, western Oklahoma, and northern Chihuahua. Northern Chihuahua, I guess that's Mexico. The rest is just Trump country. So it's safe to say
the Trumps.
100%. The Comanches, big-time Trumpies.
Absolutely.
Dude, Comanches and Hasidic Jews love Trump.
How about the Hasidic Jews?
They fucking love Trump.
I had no idea they love Trump.
They come out with the flags, yeah. It's fucking great.
It's gotta be confusing for like Nazis.
Yeah. I know. They're like, wait, what?
You guys are on my side?
Dude,
actually takes us to the Comanches quite a bit.
And
the indigenous people.
Venetia wants us to get there quickly.
When people try to act like they were, like the revisionist history, like the quick history we have of Native Americans is that they were like one with nature and peaceful.
Right.
And it's actually borderline racist where you're taking away the agency of them. Right. Like, they were people.
Right.
They were shitty.
Right.
They were just as shitty.
Right.
So,
they had issues. Yeah. Because I think like most people don't know, because you read this book, but like most people think, I think like America, the United States came in, ripped these good, nature loving Native Americans from their land, put them on reservations, and we owe them everything. Like we are horrible, so horrible to them, which I'm sure is all true. I know that that is all true.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the Comanches, is it just one tribe of the Native Americans? The Comanches were bad, or like did you learn that like a bunch of them?
Yeah. There's a ton. There was so many tribes, and they were like the Comanche when they not started, but like the early records of the Comanche were like they were kind of up in like the Rockies, and they were little tiny guys. That's another thing.
Squeaks, we call them on the show. They were squeaks.
All like because we have this version of Native Americans that are like the northeastern, the woodland tribes, where they're all like avatars,
right?
Like long and sinuous, how do I say that word?
I don't know. I've never heard of it. Cinnabon?
Sinewy?
Cinnamony?
Anyway, long avatar people.
Okay.
Yeah. But then you head out west, and they were much more like Mexicans.
Right. Just little squeaks.
Tiny guys.
But those were the Comanches were the squeaks?
The Comanches were the squeaks.
But they were fucking...
And they sucked for a while. And then when the Spanish came over, brought the horses, and then the horses would start to escape and get out. And certain tribes didn't know what to do. Like the Apache were just eating the horses.
Really?
They weren't sure how to... like, these things are good. We're going to keep munching these.
Yeah.
And then the Comanches started riding them and got like incredible at it. And then... So for like centuries, they were the lowest on the pecking order, and they would get fucked up by everybody. Yeah, the Comanches would get rocked by everybody, and then they got horses, and they got revenge, dude. They Columbined out.
What?
All the people that were picking on them
got
paid for it.
They got it. They got it hard. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
So, but did the Comanches kill a lot of like U.S. soldiers too? Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here, fights. Okay. Fights between tribes, the Comanches and the other tribes, were meant to raise horror and fear, not necessarily kill.
Okay.
But they were very violent. They would kill, torture, rape, mutilate bodies, and kill children too. That was Civil War stuff. That was tribe on tribe.
Well, that wouldn't be
Venetia. That was the United States. Yeah. So they would do that. So the Comanches would come in and raid settlers, U.S. settlers, And listen, there's kind of a school, like, I understand. It's like if somebody just moved in to my apartment and threw me out, I'd be fucking pissed. Would I mutilate their children? I don't know. I'd probably just call a lawyer first. But like,
you'd call a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
One of those protesting.
Dude, my lawyer's Jeff Cohen. He's Chunk from the Goonies. I would just call Chunk from the Goonies. I'm like, dude, you got to truffle shuffle your ass over here and fucking get these native Comanches out of my apartment.
But no, the Indians were doing that to each other. Now, they did apparently take it easy on each other sometimes because they both had this like understanding of we're low on dudes, can't be killing each other like this.
Right.
But they still, I mean, the Comanches were destroyed. I mean, certain tribes were cannibals. They would eat each other.
Really?
They were fucking wild dudes.
They were wild dudes. Yeah.
Yes.
So you could see.
And we teamed up the settlers. It's like watching the NBA. I'm cheering for the white guys the whole time, no matter what team they're on. I'm like, come on. But
yeah, you're like, Tyler Herro's the best.
So the settlers and Americans and Spanish, all of them would team up with local tribes that hated other tribes.
Okay.
So there was always tribes like scouts and shit like that with. It's the same way. I'm jumping around here. But the Spanish conquered like the Aztec Empire and the Incan Empire with like 100 dudes.
Yeah, Montezuma and all that.
Like literally like 100 conquistadors conquered the whole empire.
Yeah.
Because they just used tribes that were tired of getting their fucking heads cut off
so you're
for
saying
the sun.
100 conquistadors plus thousands of right.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So that's what happened here.
Well, they kind of out in the plains they would like use scouts. They would use scouts because these guys.
Wait, no. What's a scout? What do you mean, like a U.S. scout?
No, they would use native scouts.
Okay.
That would be able to like find shit because the plains are like literally just empty.
There's
These dudes would go out there and die constantly. Like you get lost and die.
Like
every time you went out.
There's no Walmarts or gas stations.
And they'd never seen anything even close to it.
Right.
Like they're from fucking Europe.
Right.
And then they got here and there was just a field forever.
Yeah, because in Europe, like the land was developed there. You run into a town somewhere.
There weren't animals.
Right.
Like there was no animal that could kill you, and there's blizzards out there that are fucking nuts.
Right.
That would just kill everybody that was out.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just
because they would just go out, no tents. They would just go out and be like, "Oh, this is fine. I'm in fucking France." Like, no, you're not, dickhead.
Yeah. So the Comanche.
You're in a red state.
We're doing work on them.
Yeah.
So anytime they would like send a party out or try to get.
The Comanches wouldn't negotiate with European settlers. They would. No. They would be like, "Oh, where are you lost?" They would cut the head off of your children, and then you would eat that for dinner, and then they'd kill you.
Yeah, and it was like the weird thing to me about a lot of these tribes is like torture was just what you did.
Right.
Like it wasn't like torture to like send a message where you would like cut someone's head off and put it on a spike to be like, "Don't come through here." Yeah. It was just like, "Oh, we caught one of them."
Yeah.
The way we kill him now is to torture him to death.
Right.
Because it's the worst way to die.
That
was just how they were thinking.
And they were like, absolutely, you guys can keep coming. We're not saying stay out. You can kill that, but this is just what's going to happen to you, and we send a bill to your family. Yeah.
And they would, and it was, they would like gang rape.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's like some specific torture shit that you read in the book? Anything like really wild?
Well, the Cynthia Ann Parker thing was pretty nut. Like,
okay, so Cynthia Ann Parker, also known as Nadua. I guess Cynthia Ann Parker's her Republican name, Nadua is her Democrat name. And she was an American who was kidnapped in 1836 around age 10 by a Comanche war band, which had attacked her family settlement, I guess somewhere in the Great Plains, right?
Yeah, they were in Texas.
Okay.
And what was weird about that, what I thought was interesting is the Spanish, the way they colonized like Texas and Mexico and all that, was very government oriented. Like if you were a settler there, you would be living near a fort. Like you would be as close to the government as possible. But then when the Americans settled like Texas, they were just sending fucking religious nuts out into the woods and be like, all right, you guys build whatever you want.
Right.
So the Parkers were just out in Comancheria.
Thousands of miles away from the closest U.S. fort.
Not even close to shit.
So you're saying the Spanish settlers would come and they always had the assistance of the Spanish government and soldiers. So Spanish settlers weren't getting killed at the rate U.S. settlers were getting killed.
No, they weren't. They were more, the Spanish were also more into like missionary shit. They were sending out like priests and shit. The priests would get fucked up.
They would get fucking destroyed.
every once in a while they'd run into a non-believer.
Yeah.
And he would take it out on them.
Yeah.
Like, pretty bad.
Dude. Yeah.
But, then they would get revenge.
They would, yeah.
The Spanish would be like...
So the Spanish killed a lot of Native Americans.
Spanish were doing some bad stuff.
Because we had the Native Americans didn't have guns at this point yet, right?
At that point, yeah, they did.
They did. So it was...
By the time the Texans were there.
Yeah.
Yes. When it was the Spanish, no.
No guns.
They didn't have guns or horses.
Right.
So they were just...
They would get lit
They
up.
were shit out of luck, dude.
Yeah, so like
They were in trouble.
when the Spanish came, the Comanches were just short Mexicans. Like they
Hanging
had
out.
nothing to do. They had
Yeah.
icy carts, and they were just going to get shit on.
And that was one thing that was interesting about the book. And the book is the Empire of the Summer Moon.
Right,
It's pretty sick.
pretty
But,
sick. Sick
the way he talked about it was like they came over. A lot of these tribes came over on like the land bridge,
Okay.
between Russia and
the Siberian land bridge. Yeah.
So they just for some reason they developed agriculture like 1,000 years after us.
Right.
Us again.
Yeah.
Us. The best.
Yes.
But so they were just like 1,000 years behind.
Right.
Just time wise, that's just how they developed. So they were kind of like in the Stone Age when they ran into European settlers. They were like living in like mud,
Right.
and like using rocks and shit.
That's just the
Yeah.
truth.
And then they got horses and they immediately jumped like.
So you could see in an mid 1800s European settler's brain to look at these people and just think like they're like
that would-
lesser.
Yeah, and then I mean this is like 17.
Oh, the 1700s.
Well, it's still 1860s. This shit
Right.
was still going because the Comanches were like some of the last tribes to get taken down because they were wild.
They were so awesome.
They ruled.
Yeah.
They fucking ruled. But yeah, that's how they would look at them. They'd be like these people. They don't have pants.
Right.
What are we doing? Get out of here.
Yeah.
You guys are just living on top of gold.
Right. So we
We're
need
gonna
the
need
gold.
that gold.
Yeah.
And then they'd get there and be like, "Oh, we're in Kansas. There's no gold."
Yeah.
Anyway, get out of here.
Yeah.
Dude, the Spanish spent like 50 years looking for cities of gold.
In Kansas.
And they'd end up in like Kansas, and Utah, like just
Fucking
they
idiots.
just kept looking for it. They did
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
But so like then this Cynthia Ann Parker
All right.
thing.
So the Parkers said, and with like another family. So there's always like a bunch of like weird, almost a little too Christian groups of people living in like weird forts they built type thing. And then they would just get killed. They just would get killed.
Yeah, they would just
Indians would come through eventually.
and just kill them all, and that's it.
Usually kidnap. Sometimes they would kidnap, and they would adopt you, shit like that.
But I was going to say the kidnapping wasn't for like ransom, like hey, give us money and we'll let this kid go. They were just taking your family for them.
They did start to ransom because that's how. Yeah, they did use them for ransom, but they also were like kidnapping just to be like, hey, we need some fucking people. We're running low.
So they would take them and then make them work. Like you would just have to assimilate.
You'd be
and
a
now,
slave. They would enslave.
yeah, like you were a European settler, and
They
now
were white slaves.
Yeah, what? Wild.
White slaves.
Dope.
White, dude. We should fucking have a rock band called the White Slaves.
But yeah, they would also give you names, which was funny.
So,
And the
okay.
names were never great.
So Ann Parker's name was Nadua.
Yeah, they would just make up like, and they weren't like sweet names. It wasn't like Mountain Flower or shit. It was like Guy with Boner. Like for real, that was like a guy's name. It was like Erection Stands Tall. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Dog Fart.
So this Anna Parker girl, Ann Parker, she got kidnapped and lived with the Comanches. She was 10 and lived with the Comanches for 24 years, completely forgetting her white ways. She had 3 kids. Who
wrote that? Who wrote White
Venetia,
Ways?
fucking liberal.
Yeah, her white ways.
Yeah. Dude.
What was her white ways?
Yeah, what were they? She fucking brunch.
She forgot English and she learned the Comanche ways.
Oh, she okay. All right,
I
so
mean, she doesn't look white in this photo, does she really?
no, dude. I mean, she actually doesn't. I don't know what she looks like. She looks like she has a skin condition for sure. So her captor, Peter Kinankuna, was a war chief who had many wives. Venetia threw that in. She put war chief parentheses who had many wives himself.
He was a womanizer.
Yeah, she's like ill. She was like Peter Kinakuna, or as I call him, war chief fuckboy.
Yeah. He also, was a slave owner who raped and tortured. But yeah, he had a bunch of wives.
Yeah,
that
but he had
pig.
a bunch of wives. Gross. Like, what did his main wife think? Like, disgusting. Patriarchy. Yuck.
Dope.
RBG, miss you. So this fucking Ann Parker, who was a 10-year-old white European settler, got kidnapped by Peter Kunkuna, the war chief. Her Comanche name, by the way, Nadua, means someone found. She actually got so crazy, she started joining in on raids and questioning people and killing people, and she just became a full fucking Comanche girl.
Wait, I don't know if she joined any raids. Did that say that she did?
Dude, it's history hyenas. Wow. Reality is a suggestion.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's... What
do you know about her?
She did get nutty. She would have to fight. You had to fight constantly.
Okay.
The Comanches did have a full fucking dudes rock setup, dude.
Right.
The women did everything.
Right.
The men would go hunt,
yeah,
and fight, and then chill at the camp, and the women had to take apart the buffalo, do everything with all that.
Yeah.
They were the women
Slice
were slaves.
the garlic.
The women were slaves, which ruled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the same thing with the Puritans that I just learned in Salem. The Puritan society, which I didn't even know, Puritanism as a religion, it doesn't exist anymore. There's nobody that's a Puritan. It's not an official religion. It's doesn't exist. I just never even thought about that. But same thing with the reason why eventually the witch trials happened was because they would tell the Puritans it was a man-dominated society. The women, their daughters, wives, nobody could even leave the house unless to do your chores, because they believed if you left as a woman, they were the only one. They were the only ones susceptible to the devil's temptations. Men couldn't get susceptible to the devil, so they said only the women could. So you had these crazy paranoid women growing up, that they thought that the devil was everywhere, and if one of them got fucking tempted or did something normal, they would be like, you're a witch. So it's very similar. Comanches sound a lot like the Puritans in that sense, where it's
yeah, but the Comanches did fuck around, they pranked each other.
Really?
They were a fun group.
What did they do? What are some pranks?
I don't know. I don't remember some.
I thought you read this book.
I do. Look, just classic pranks, dude.
Yeah, just fucking.
I don't know.
They put whoopee cushions down.
Yeah, they loved pranks.
Dude, they would do all that shit.
Yeah, because most of the records come from white slaves that the Comanches had.
Yeah, because Comanches did they have writing or an alphabet or anything?
No. They used most of these tribes used knots on a string to communicate. I don't know how the fuck it even works. They'd be like, this is time.
Really?
They had beads to be here's our story. People would be like, what the fuck?
What?
You gave us a necklace?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the history of our tribe.
What?
We're gonna go ahead and write your history.
Yeah, just read it. Is it one of those things where it's we're not even sure if what's real or what? Could the Comanches' evilness been exaggerated by the whites because of this?
It's evil. You're being very Eurocentric here. It's evil through Western morality.
Right.
Through Plains morality. If you're fucking literally in the Stone Age.
Yeah.
You can fucking gang rape if you catch someone.
It's not that evil.
It's not that evil. It's just this feels good.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's just pleasure seeking.
They were pleasure seeking.
I get it.
Dude. I think it was the Parker raid. One of the ants. They got one of the ants, her aunt, and they just they gang raped her in front of all the kids.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, come on, kids, you're with us.
Yeah, they're like, who wants apple slices?
Just their aunt in the dirt.
Yeah. And
then I think they dragged her. They tied her to a horse and dragged her
to death.
Yeah, after
That's what happens.
They were having fun, dude.
Well, you can't.
The Apaches were, or the Comanches were having a good time.
It's one of those things where it's you can't. What if she got pregnant? After.
I'm not gonna raise some fucking kid. Some kid.
And he's like, no, edit it. We're just kidding.
It's not us, dude.
Yeah,
it's not us. The whites were the ones being white slaves.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's I'm not. Well, I have nothing to do with this. I'm fucking have Italian and German ancestry.
Yeah.
Our people were not here.
Yeah, they weren't there yet.
They weren't there. So it's okay. So Ann Parker, Nadula, she forgot the white ways, as Venetia said, and she just became full Comanche. And then on a raid, on a U.S. raid, they got her. They noticed she had blue eyes. And they're like, oh, this girl, let's bring her back to her people. And she didn't understand English, didn't know her name, was sad that the U.S. killed her family, even though she was
Yeah, she got it twice, which is tough.
Yeah, she
had two families get murdered by both sides.
Yeah, she was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Everywhere she goes, just a group of dudes show up and kill her family.
Kill her family and rape her aunts. And they're like, what the fuck? Her daughter's name was Prairie Flower. And what a Democrat name. And she grew up learning English, but died of pneumonia at a young age. So Prairie Flower died early.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID. It sounds like COVID. After a few years, Nadula died. And was thought that it was thought that Ann Parker, aka Nadula, died from starving herself from grief. So she just like was. So, but I get like, it's one of those things where like when you watch something, like when you hear about the Comanche stuff or the Salem witch trial stuff, you're like, how did people live? Like, how did anyone not just want to kill themselves by 20? But it's like they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So do you ever think about like how we're living? Like people 300 years from now be like, could you imagine?
For
like,
sure.
But like, what do you think it is? Like, what is there a thing?
What's going to be ours?
Yeah, like what's the thing that we're doing right now, or a thing that they're like, ugh, imagine where they had to do that. Like, I don't even know where we go from here, like futuristically.
I don't
like
either.
it's like because I was wonder like if I was a Comanche Indian, I'd be like, dude, it'd be great to have like pants. It'd be great to like not have to take 7 years to get 3 miles. It'd be nice to have somewhere to shit and not have to cover it. Like, but we have all those things. It's like, what else do you want? Like, you have cars that drive themselves now, planes, iPhones. Like, what do you think people 300 years from now will be like? Ugh, imagine 2020 idiots.
Yeah, you had to read.
Maybe that. Yeah, you think that's
You
what
had
it
to
is?
talk.
That's probably what it is, right?
Huh?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Huh?
We'll just be fucking bots, full
You had
robots.
to tolerate Democrats. At that point, Trump will have been.
Yeah.
He'll probably still be alive.
I was going to say, yeah, he's not going to die. He's going to freeze his body. Like, Trump will never die. It's not going to happen, dude.
He's going to be dying soon, too.
You think so, dude? Not
If he would have
COVID.
died from COVID, come on.
Oh, my God.
That would have been so funny.
Could you imagine that would have happened?
Oh,
Dude, I was like, no. We're just kidding. It's a Comanche thing.
it's just a Comanche thing. Come on. It's a Comanche thing. You
So
wouldn't
who's this
understand.
fucking... Now we got a big one.
That's Quanah, dude. He's the
okay,
man.
so who's the tall one?
That's Parker's daughter or son, Quanah.
So this one is half... He's actually half European settled white slave, half Comanche.
Yes.
Interesting.
And then he's
the chief's son.
He becomes the most. That's another thing. A lot of these tribes, like the Comanche, were like they weren't like there wasn't one chief. There was a bunch of different tribes within the Comanche that just really never worked together. Really didn't communicate too much.
So that's hard to
it was
understand.
just kind of an alliance where
So there's not one leader at all.
No, I think Quanah did become like a main chief.
They practiced autonomy. So what happened is that like he, because they were being pushed into settlements, to reservations. He wasn't. He was told. He was appointed by the U.S. government. Like, you're the chief, and it's like, no, that's not really a thing. But like, and it kind of was because he was half white, and he was also really strong. He was, really tall, as you said before, that they were usually really
He was
short.
jacked, dude.
But
Yeah.
and he was really brave. Like, he took stabbings, and he would kill people when he was really well known for raiding and stealing other horses. But yeah, then
they
started,
love stealing horses.
He befriended
Right.
the government after. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
he
he-
was at
he-
FDR's funeral, right?
Yeah, he's a man.
Yeah.
He's a man, and he was telling jokes. I'm telling you, the Comanche were funny.
Yeah.
They were genuine. Like in the book, like a historical book, they were known for being funny.
Right.
Which is
like jokes in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, after committing you just go burn a family to death. A couple gags.
Interesting.
But no, Quanah was the fucking man.
So he was a good Comanche. He wasn't doing,
he was.
he was doing everything else.
You're stuck in this world of good and bad.
Yeah.
This is history, man.
Yeah.
You know that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Oh, he was friends with notable Teddy Roosevelt, went to his 1905 inauguration.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said he went to FDR's funeral, which would be in 1945. What an idiot.
Yeah, he fought the Nazis also.
Yeah.
But I forgot to include this. This is funny.
Yes, tell us, please.
Because when you were talking about them getting pushed into reservations and shit, early you got to remember that tribes like who the fuck was in Georgia?
Appalachians,
Yes. No. The Trail of Tears.
Algonquins,
Trail of Tears
Iroquois,
was
Mohicans.
no.
Who's the Trail of
There's
Tears?
a bunch of Trail of
I don't.
Tears.
I have
They're
to
very
really
famous.
learn about this. Cherokees.
Yeah, the Cherokees.
The Cherokee, Chickasaw, Muskegee, Airmen.
The Jeep Grand Cherokees had to,
Dude,
and then they had to get sent to Comancheria. So
what's Comancheria?
that's where the Comanche live. So
Okay.
we were displacing all these tribes. were displacing all these tribes from the east and just sending them to live with the Comanches.
Thinking that, you're Native Americans, they're Native
who
Americans,
would immediately fucking kill them and steal everything they had.
Right.
So they got, it was terrible.
So Cherokees weren't really like a fighting, some of these tribes weren't violent.
I mean, I'm sure they were, but they, especially towards the east, they ran into the paleface pretty early.
Got it.
So like the Comanche had like a century to learn how to ride horses, get guns, shit like that.
Right.
A lot of the eastern tribes had, it was normal.
No chance. Yeah. Yeah, because that's a good point. Like by the time it was literally 100 years, by the Cherokee Indians knew what white people were 100 years before the Comanches did. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's crazy to think back in history. Like, that's just what it is. Like news of something just took months.
Yeah. Some guy had to like walk to St. Louis.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys coming.
Yeah.
Like 40 years later.
Yeah. It's just what it
see
is.
one white dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Well, it's like I always would think too, like writing letters, like in the Civil War, like a soldier writing a letter to like his mom or wife and be like, I'm alive, I'm great, I survived this battle. And then it gets there 4 months later. It's like, no, dude, you died a day later. So it's like, as their wife, I'd be like, I don't believe that. Like, are you alive or dead? I always thought about that. Because it just takes too long for me to fucking know if that, like, I would just be sitting in constant anxiety.
Yeah, if you were in the Civil War?
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah,
there was a gun in the Civil War called the Devil's Breath. I was like, I don't want to smell that.
It would suck.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting how it's like Native Americans, like we are part of their history and they're part of ours. I mean, we kind of just, it's just one in this. It's just you can't get around it. Like things were messy back then on both sides. That's just what the truth is.
There's good people on both sides.
Yeah, there's good.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, there's good people on both sides.
Yeah, the honkies did get a little. They would go a little overboard sometimes.
Yeah, more overboard than the Comanches. You think?
Comanches went pretty hard, like out of the gate.
But they would. But I guess what people would say, progressive people here would say, is Comanches were provoked.
No, the Comanches were they invaded. They took that land, like that. They didn't start there.
Like the U.S. told the Cherokees to go west, and then the Comanches came and took it.
Yeah, but no, they were. I mean, the people that were there before. There's all types of fucking like Crow and Sioux. All these fucking people that were out there. Apache.
Yeah.
The fucking Pueblos. All those people were out there.
Right.
And the Comanches came down and just started.
The Comanches did to their own people what the U.S. did to the.
And that's exactly what every tribe did to get to where they were.
That's just what it was. It just so it's basically like people nowadays just another example of picking and choosing what you want to get outraged at and what group of people you want to cancel for what reason fits you, because anywhere you look, there's people doing horrible shit in history.
Yeah, there is. But there's all exactly. I mean, if there was like if you heard of like a Mad Max style gang of like raiders that got taken off their land, you wouldn't be like, "Oh man.
Yeah.
Too bad. Those guys were great."
Yeah.
It'd be like, "No, they were some
fucking brutal
bad hombres out there."
But it's one of those things where it's like you said before, like the history, who's writing the history book of this, because it's very, very, very different point of views,
of course,
on why, the only one in history that's just really tough to justify anything is the Nazis. It's like we have video evidence of you guys. Yeah. Like it's just tough to be like, I could see it Germany's way. It's like I just can't. I just I don't know.
I got some friends trying to justify it pretty regularly, and I'm like, dude, stop trying to justify this.
No, that one you just, whichever way you slice it, you're like, dude, you got to just fucking apologize.
You got to say sorry.
Yeah.
Don't tweet some non-apology.
Do it. So, okay, so in closing then, I mean, this dude, the what was his name, Parker? Quanah Parker, he had many wives too, 24 children. Venetia wrote, his polygamous ways bothered the U.S. government, but apparently not the fact that he previously killed settlers.
Yeah.
So now she's switching. Now she's saying, like, you know what? Like, he has like many wives, but like, why the fuck is he killing these people?
I think some people from like Parker's, like that raid were at when he was hanging out with Roosevelt. Like people would see him speak and be like, this motherfucker. Like they'd see him in like a car.
Because they were raided against.
With yeah. Like this guy just fucking. You should have seen what this guy did to us.
Yeah, you should see what this guy did to my fucking aunt.
He's hanging out with the president.
Yeah,
like this is weird.
Interesting. Well, Teddy Roosevelt's statue just got taken down.
My fucking aunt.
Dude, Teddy Roosevelt's statue just got taken down. So I guess it's fucking some Comanches. They're back. He encouraged Christianization of Comanche people. He also advocated the syncretic Native American church. Is there still a Native American church? Is that like the Church of Latter-day Saints or something? Yeah. Is that what it is? That's not right. You just said, yeah, that's no way that's right.
Yeah, I forgot about that. This was towards the end of the book where it got pretty gay.
Yeah, it just got, you were like, all right.
Where it was like he did some cool things. I think his father-in-law and him died. Well, his father-in-law died in they didn't know how the lamps worked in this hotel they were in. They just kept the gas running all night.
Right.
He just died in his sleep from. Yeah.
And then how did he die?
He survived that. I don't know how he died. I forget. He's a geezer.
Yeah.
Like cancer.
Like just he died like an old guy.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hilarious way to die, though. It's just
you left the light on.
You somehow survive raids and Comanche shit and rapings, and then you just die. A lamp killed you. Dude, I mean, what can you do?
Criticism. That's hilarious. We're looking at his Wikipedia
What's the criticism?
page.
Yeah, what's the criticism on QAnon? He had Comanche critics. Some claim that he sold out to the white man. I'd say so.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
but fucking,
100%.
I mean, what is he gonna do? Sleep in fucking buffalo bodies for the rest of his life? No, dude. The guy wants a gas
He's a
lamp.
real Uncle Quana.
Here we go. Yeah. He also refused to follow U.S. marriage laws and had up to 8 wives at one time. Venetia highlighted that. Sick. I know. I say fucking hero. He dressed and lived what some would call European American more than the Comanche
I can't believe
style.
that this is what this has Wikipedia's criticism of this
Yeah,
guy.
'cause he didn't-
is him being too white,
Yeah.
not war crimes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he also fucking raped and mutilated children, but because he wasn't, because he wore a suit instead of his fucking Halloween costume, they, but it's just funny because you're right.
Yeah.
It's just what the U.S. shit does. It's like you're not mentioning the fact that he killed and scalped people. You're saying that the actual crime is him being too white, which is just like what the world that we live in.
It is.
It's just not in reality. I know white people did bad shit. Of course they fucking do horrible shit. But like we were saying, so does everybody. Everybody does
so
horrible
get
shit.
off our fucking back, would
Dude,
you?
we're doing the best that we can. And if you want the white race to survive, do what's right in November. No. Zoom in on Shane's face. No. I'm kidding, dude.
No,
Dude, he defended the right to use peyote during Native American rituals.
Yeah,
did you do peyote with Doug Stanton? I didn't know this. The movie, the John Wayne movie, The Searchers.
Oh yeah,
was based on Parker.
Quanah Parker's uncle, I think it was. He like spent his life trying to find her, which is fucking cool.
Like in
they
real
go
life?
into that, yeah. And he went on some wild missions. Like he would lose his horse and have to like survive a blizzard on the plains by himself. Like really, fucking sick.
Did he ever find him?
I think he did. He got word that somebody found her. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Good.
Yeah, I think she. I could be fucking this up, but like she had a really shitty fucking life.
Who,
like the Parker lady.
And Parker.
I think when she got rescued, she was rescued she was in New Mexico when they were bringing her back, and there was like a Pueblo uprising where they were like beheading the officials of the town, and like she was like, oh, I'm finally rescued. She wasn't excited to be rescued, but she was rescued. She was in like a hotel.
Yeah.
And there was just
were beheading people outside.
Wild fucking day.
Yeah.
Like everywhere she went. Is that her?
Yeah,
It was there another.
No. She was also like, paraded. Like everybody's celebrating the fact that she returned, and she's like, "I'm depressed. Like my whole family just got murdered." Like,
and then she
I'm not
killed
happy.
herself the worst way possible.
Starving. I know. She took keto to the extreme.
She did go keto.
Intermittent fasting. Dude, yeah, well, that's like what Gandhi did. Didn't Gandhi starve himself to death?
Yeah, but he wasn't just sad.
Yeah.
He wasn't just. It's important for everybody listening to this to know I'm a big fan of the Comanches.
You like the Comanches.
I like what they were up to.
But then do you want to call it Indigenous People Day or Columbus Day?
Well, look, man.
Do you want to just call it?
Very complicated.
How about with this? Just to do it. Why don't we call it Comanche Columbus Day?
That would rule.
That's it. That's what we're going to change it to. We're going to get specific. We're going to call it Comanche Columbus Day. I like Indigenous Peoples Day presented by Christopher Columbus Day.
Yeah. It is good.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like, because then it's like everybody's happy. It's like, this is what it is. It's Indigenous Peoples presented by Christopher Columbus Day.
You should have worn a mask day.
Yeah, exactly.
Too bad they didn't have those N95s back then, you know?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Then you would have fucking not got smallpox like an idiot. October 23rd, you're going to be in Texas.
I'll be in Comancheria.
Dude, you will be in Comancheria, right? Is
Yeah.
that where Dallas was, Comancheria?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Dallas is in Texas.
Part of Texas was Comancheria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good chunk.
Nice chunk. All right. Well, that's what a short person from history that he thinks is cool. So
Wait till he hears about the Comanches.
Oh, dude, no, he's the Comanche.
He should be fired
He
up.
listens to the episodes. He's gonna. I guarantee you, his Squeak's gonna be the Comanches.
These are short kings. Dude.
You're short kings. Yeah.
Steven,
Well, what?
why is America number one, dude?
I thought we covered that.
All right. I just want to hear it again.
But look, I wanted to also too, because one thing I think is kind of funny, but I can't. I'm like failing to make it funny. Is just this idea of explanations, which I'm going to talk about in the talk, and this is in part one. But how all cultures have had rain dances. I talked to you about this.
This is great.
And I just think it's interesting because, first of all, a rain dance is an explicit attempt at weather modification. So, like, no matter what you want to say about people in the West, you're like, you're destroying the weather. It's like, that's what they were trying to do. It's just that they failed at it. So that we're kind of like, like we look at it with a degree of reverence.
If they were blasting lasers, we wouldn't be like, oh.
Right. Or if their rain dances worked.
True that.
What I was saying to Shane was like, if you've lived with somebody that likes the thermostat slightly different, you know how annoying that gets.
Yeah.
If you all of a sudden you go out in the morning and it's raining and you're like, fucking
savages.
fucking doing it again.
Oh my god.
Goddamn Redskins.
That's so
anti-rain
fucking
dance.
funny. God, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
to think about.
the rain dance, to think of it as attempted weather modification.
I mean, it is, dude.
No, of course it's what it is. But
That's
it's
crazy.
just funny to look at it in that light.
And again, though, but people look at
Chemtrails, dude.
It was Native American chemtrails. Dude.
Dude, they
There
were
were smoke
fucking-
signals. They were fucking dancing.
they wanted
Put
to make
aluminum
the
in the air.
progress that we make. They just didn't know how.
Fair enough.
And
They didn't fucking get jiggy with it enough, dude.
True.
They should have danced harder.
Damn, the times that it must have appeared to have worked must have just
I know.
must have been the most lit fucking
Well,
party
dude, it'd be
ever.
the same thing as like an open mic when like you're out, your rain dance didn't work. Some guy like drizzled a little bit. He's like, dude, you just gotta loosen up. Just fucking, you just gotta be yourself, dude.
It's like,
Just
dude,
do
you're
what
pretty
comes to
funny.
mind.
You're funny. That was good. It's like,
Like, it got a little humid,
thunder.
dude. It got humid out there. You just gotta fucking let him have it. I've been doing this for like 15 years, bro. It's like, I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. That was people who thought they were the shit at rain dancing must have been so funny.
they must have like hit it once or twice and then just been like, I'm not doing it again. I can't do it. Like every 10 years, they'd hit one. Dude, if you hit a rain dance, you'd be the fucking man.
It's over,
Yes.
dude. It's over. Well, there was another book talking about that and how like God evolved, where there'd be like people who would do that, and then they'd be like, "Yep, this guy's in charge of everything," and then he'd do it again, it didn't work, and he'd be like, "Which one of you guys did something fucked up?" And they're all like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, I did something fucked up. Ah, he knows."
It's like in Apocalypto when there's the eclipse. Did you see Apocalypto?
No, I want to see that.
He's an Aztec.
I almost lied and
or
said
a Mayan.
yes.
Yeah, that
I always do that
I
movie.
always do that
Yes.
shit. And it's like, you know the part where that happens? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that part. And I'm always such a psycho that in my mind I'm like, maybe they're just making that up to try to trap me. I'm that much of a fucking psycho. But in Apocalypto, they're doing the Aztec thing where they're ripping people's fucking hearts out and cutting their heads off the top of pyramids, which they did at an astounding rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like lines would be miles long. This is a bad rain dance.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was a real bad rain dance. And
Yeah.
the worst fucking rain dance possible.
exactly, explicitly trying to
But then
control.
there's just a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse while he's about to get his heart ripped out, and they're all just like, "Whoa, the sun god has had its fill of blood. Let this guy go. Fuck yeah!" But it's just
That's awesome, man.
It's funny that just a freak occurrence happened, and he
Well,
didn't
dude,
get his head cut
that's
off.
crazy to think of people who were in that time. And then I always think about this when like 500 years they're gonna look at us and be like, those fucking idiots. Like when it changed from 1998 to like 2005, 2010. I remember thinking like, damn, I live in the fucking tens now, dude. This sucks. I was like, I'm just like some
funny.
shitty
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
dude in the tens.
Yeah,
To where like I look back on 1910, I'm like, idiot,
I think of
fucking
that.
moron.
I think of that all the time.
Now I'm like, fuck, man. I'm in the
Yeah.
fucking tens, dude. I was on the end of it. Now I'm
You're
just
at
like
the end of the sickest century.
shitting in my fucking hat, dude. I'm like, this sucks.
That's all right. You'll die in the 50s, which is sick. Hopefully there's another civil rights. Hopefully the 2050s includes.
2050 is going to be fucking the size 42 dungaree march, dude. They're going to be like, stop holding me down.
They're going to be fire hosing white dudes.
They probably will.
I'm going to deliver the I Have a Dream.
Are you really?
Yeah. I'm going to be like, I have a dream.
Just Alex Jones voice.
I'm sick of seeing black movies. I'm sick of seeing ESPN do blackface every day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, that's like...
But yeah, that's
hilarious.
Your parents are fucking every day in front of you. You're just sitting there.
And some guys like, yo, you want to go fucking and get gold?
Want to go build a fort in Virginia?
That is, when people talk about 400 years ago, it's the most annoying thing. It's like acting like they actually crashed. He was like saying how like Columbus was thought he was in Japan. He's like, and he hit the Bahamas, and it's like, dude, of course you hit the fucking Bahamas, man. What would you have done? I hate when people get all high and mighty about that shit. And to think about, like, you come here, you don't even know this landmass exists, and now you see different people for the first time, and it's like, and they just treat it, and it's like, dude, you're in like a fucking video game.
Yeah.
They got like sharp sticks, and you're like, yo, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. And they start getting loud, and you're like, all right, I'm busting out a musket, dude. I don't even know you guys. I hate that when they're just like, and then they do this fantasy of gold, and they ruin these people, and it's like... that stance on history.
You know what else is weird about
off.
that is Columbus wrote in his journal that these people would make fine slaves when he landed. Mm-hmm. That was just in his journal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his personal thoughts, bro.
I mean, of course he ended up cutting people's ears off and shit and genociding, but, you know.
That was his first impression. Like, these would be good slaves.
These would be pretty good slaves.
So,
he just kept it. He was like,
Well, that's,
just kept it to himself.
That's his own personal
that's
thought.
1492.
I mean, if you check my journal, dude, there's a couple of... I've seen people before. I'm like, you know what?
That's a fine slave, dude. That would be a great slave. I don't want to get too racist. Never mind. I'm not going to name good slaves.
Yeah, but it's like...
Who do you think the best slave possibly would be?
I'm saying, man, you go over there and you discover Native Americans for the first time, and they're fucking running all fast, bare feet. You're like, damn, bro.
Yeah, that's a good slave, dude.
Give that motherfucker a wheelbarrow, bro. Yeah. That guy would fly.
Tie some stones to his back, let him run around.
Give that guy... Like, you see guys with fucking... I mean, they had tomahawks.
Yeah.
They're fucking chopping down trees for arrows. You're like, put him on a fucking apple orchard. This motherfucker would be picking... He'd be killing it. I just hate when people put a modern mentality on the 1600s. It's like, dude, you have no fucking idea.
Yeah, of course. I gotta let you read that book, dude.
What
War
book's
on the
that?
Run, dude.
What's that about?
It's about... I read it a while ago, and then I started reading it again. It's about Robert Rogers. He was he was like the first Army Ranger. Mm-hmm. He was like he was like the precursor to Special Forces in modern military, awesome. And he lived in pre-French and Indian War America in like Vermont, New England, and I've talked about it a bunch of times on his.
What's he do? What's his
savages would come in and kill everybody in his town.
Oh, didn't he take up with the savages?
Then he kind of took up with the savages. Like he was raised alongside a tribe with his town.
Yeah, yeah.
So he studied the land. He knew the land, and he knew modern war was going to be different than standing in line. So he formed kind of like a special forces where they could travel long distances.
So he's the reason our Navy
parties.
SEALs are so sneaky, basically.
They still study his maneuvers to this day.
Dude. That's tight.
Yeah, but the first couple of chapters are all about like landing in America.
And it's being like, holy shit.
His family and another family, they're Scots-Irish. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we can try to make our own outside of this village. Let's try to... They formed clans. They joined families with another family and bought like 600 acres for like 11 pounds.
In America?
Yeah.
Who'd they buy it off?
It was British.
Whatever bull was chilling.
Yeah. But then it was kind of like you said, like they would let the white trash kind of be a buffer.
Yeah.
So his family was a white trash buffer.
And they'd be like, go ahead, bro.
And they're like, you can have that land if you can settle it.
Damn.
And then up until Thomas Jefferson, nobody had really gone west of... Like, America hadn't really expanded at all.
Where'd TJ go?
The Louisiana Purchase.
That was TJ?
He got all that shit, yeah.
And he led... I like to see a couple pages of his journal, dude.
He led... he was the one who founded the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Yeah.
So the first two presidents were just like... We don't even know about the Pacific Ocean. They're like, we're not going over there.
No, that was the other thing.
We're not heading over there.
They were saying that...
probably knew about it.
He was like kind of like scoffing at the fact that like when they got there, the Native Americans were like, there's like a big sea if you go like 7 days walk from here. And dude, the language barrier is unimaginable. And they're like, and this guy actually thought like the South Indian Ocean was like 7 days away. And it's like, dude, fuck you. Let me drop you off in the woods, dude, on a state game. See how you make it out. Someone's like, yo, it's that way. You'd be like, thank you.
Let's drop you off in Strawberry Mansion, dude.
Yeah, I just
see if you get out of that
chaps my ass
without getting burnt at the stake.
That's the ultimate armchair quarterback to be like, and he crashed into the wrong landmass on his sailboat.
Looking at history,
being like, clearly these guys are. He was saying like the people who weren't suckers stayed in England. And it's like, yeah, it's more than being a sucker, dude. It's like these people were poor as fuck.
Yeah,
and they didn't have any other choice really, and a lot of them were indentured servants too. So it's like. Yeah, it's a bullshit thesis, and I've had people tell me like, "Oh, this is really good," and I'm reading it. And I'm like, I can't fuck with this guy, dude.
You know, what? It's a weird thing that I've always been bothered by is like in this country, if you like, everybody always prefaces things like, "This is America," and in America we love an underdog, or like in America we love it. It's like first of all, everyone loves a fucking underdog, and stop talking about this country.
Yeah.
As though you've traveled the world.
I know.
It always bothers me when people are like, this is a racist country.
Oh, dude.
Like, have you traveled, dude? Why don't you ask Sudan if they're racist?
Have you gone anywhere, dude? Have you even read to find out, like, that's the other thing, too. And they're like, this country's founded on racism. And it's like, dude, read about them. Like, there's been so many other genocides all over the world for the same thing. Have been like, yeah, you guys are the other guy. Fuck you guys. That's so fucking annoying.
We're spinning our wheels.
This country's founded on white supremacy.
Like,
so that's like, you see people in Western PA, their grandfathers fucked up some Indians, dude. Not long ago either, dude. I'm talking like 1920.
No, more than that.
Whatever. 1800s.
Yeah.
Went and bucked up some Indians, dude.
It was longer than that in PA.
Whatever
PA
it was.
got settled a long time ago.
But that was the boys who came in. They were just buffering them around. Whenever Indians were like in Ohio.
You got to clear out some Indians, though.
You got to
clearing out.
Yeah, but you got to use the absolute. People were doing the do back
I'm gonna
then.
Say this.
That was a Mountain Dew commercial back then.
Of all the horrific genocides in human history, I can handle the Native Americans getting brushed off the land.
You like that one?
I'm all right with that one.
Okay.
A bunch of dudes with Mountain Dew coming up and be like, get these fucking pieces of shit off this land.
That must have been wild, dude.
Well, it's funny. It's such a weird double standard to have. I mean, I get it if you are like, I can't believe America did this.
Yeah.
If you don't know history at all,
well,
and you think America is such a nice, it's like you can't have a nice empire.
Yeah, well, you don't meet Turks and be like, evil bastard.
No, of course not.
They genocided the Armenians.
Yeah,
that's the show, The Young Turks.
Every country.
Yeah, that's true.
Every country genocided somebody.
It's true.
Like, and another thing with the Indians is like, how do you think they got that land?
Yeah.
They genocided some other fucking tribe.
They definitely did.
They were at war with each other constantly.
Forever, dude. It's always been that way.
And they weren't like sophisticated, nice people.
Yeah.
I've done this like so many times.
But no, it's
just it's such a funny, like if you look at history at all and if you look at history with like rose glasses where you're like, America's this beautiful place, it's like obviously you're wrong.
Yeah.
So when people bring up like the atrocities committed against Native Americans, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is shocking when I was in 7th grade. Mm-hmm. I'm an adult now.
In 7th grade, they fed me the cornucopia story where like they split a turkey and they're like, hey, let's teach you some skills.
And then later you find out it's like, oh shit, we killed all those guys.
And then after for dessert, dude, they were like,
yeah, you want some Mountain Dew? It's got smallpox. That's how they actually killed
him. Gave him
some Code Red, and the natives were like, they fucking died.
They didn't have an Xbox anywhere. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
But yeah, it's so funny. It's funny to think about, like, people just showed up and were like, this is pretty nice land.
Well, dude, when you read that book...
Who the fuck are these idiots? Get them out of here.
When you read White Trash, it was like the English government was just rounding up the poorest of fucking shitty... Like, literally taking orphans.
Do you have that in hard copy?
No.
God
my brother has that. Yeah, my brother has that. That's great.
I need one.
Dude, that's great. So they would round up orphans and then just put them on a boat and be like, over. So, like, you'd have these people who were just, like, absolute mud kickers, dude, landed in America... And then they're just like, all right, I guess I'm here now. Arrow goes through your wife's neck and they rape 30 people. And you're like, who the fuck are these guys?
You gotta find
and that's what happened, dude. That's the Thomas Sowell guy talks about this. And it makes a lot of sense when people talk about slavery, whether you're dealing with slavery in the abstract or you were living during that time. And when people are like, they get mad at Lincoln being like, well, when he freed the slaves, he was kind of cold and calculated. He should have been more moralistic about it. And it's like... You can say that now, but it's like if you were the president, imagine if you were the president back then. Like, if these people there was millions of slaves in the South. So they were really worried about, like, if you free them, are they going to come fuck you up and kill you?
Yeah.
Like the Thomas Jefferson has a famous quote of being like, "You had the wolf by the ears, dude." He's like, "What do? Do you fucking let it go?" They got some guy wrote a love story between him and his teenage slave, and it got a lot of negative press, dude.
Yeah, I bet
they got a lot of negative press.
Well, I bet they were eating some pizza too.
Yeah,
Pizzagate.
They're like, he's a rapist and blah blah blah, and the guy wrote the story like a love story basically, and that's
you brought up an interesting point when we were talking about this book earlier about how I keep wanting to say Sowell, Thomas
Sowell, yeah. It's Sowell,
yeah. How he talked about how they also the Western Europeans also abolished slavery.
They did.
Like this,
no one talks about that.
This is an institution that it built the pyramids.
Yeah.
This is an institution that's been around since as long as humans were even remotely civilized.
Yeah.
They've had caste systems and slavery, and then it led up in human history. It took the great white man to say, knock it off.
It was the English, dude.
Yeah.
Even the French were like, nah, slavery's still chill. And then they finally folded. Yeah, dude.
I think it was like the Portuguese were the last ones.
Yep.
I think in Brazil it was still going.
Yep. But then there was
the US and Brazil
there was the Arabs in Asia, man, and they were still rocking in the free
They're
world.
still going.
They got stamped out hard though, and then they would fly French flags, and the British government wasted millions of pounds on abolishing slavery worldwide. So it's
How about that?
I
What
know.
do you think of that?
They were the biggest slave exporter too. That's
While they also kind of enslaved the Irish people.
That's true too.
The Irish were slaves
dude,
too.
that
should be the name of our podcast.
The Irish slaves.
The Irish were slaves. Just thinking.
But
in my
it's
head.
annoying because if you point out, like you were saying, the fact that white people did, and that's the guy Sowell being like, no one talks about the fact that it was Western Europeans stopped slavery globally.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's a pretty good
but
thing.
to say that is like, how dare you?
Why would you say that?
It's like, hey, we were bad boys and we were good boys, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody was bad boys.
If you want to break it down like a psycho into races and geography,
Mm-hmm.
of all the areas in the world that were bad boys throughout human history, which they all were,
Yeah.
the one that was like, we should knock this off, was the fucking British, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that goes on, dude. That's at any time. Like it happened with
I'm just back to thinking about white trash kicking Indians off the land. It's making me laugh because I'm just thinking everybody looked like my cousin Frankie.
Well, it's funny that everyone thinks like quote unquote white people were just like a race of like just pure conquistadors who came over here and like, shoo, you fucking beast. And it was just this guy being like looking through one eye and like, what the hell's that?
Yeah, it was like in The Revenant. It was like Tom Hardy in The Revenant. It was like this balding, like flea infested dipshit. Yeah. Fighting a shirtless fucking Indian.
I mean, dude, it's really like, did you ever, when you were little, trap like two bugs under a glass and watch them fight?
Yeah.
Pretty much what it's like, dude. You're like a spider and a bee, and you're just like, there you go.
The British captured two retards, put them in a jar. I was like, whoever wins, we're going to take over.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. Came in and started
Let's talk slaves.
You want to talk slaves?
We already covered gay bullshit. Let's cover some slavery.
What you want to talk about?
What do you think of slaves, dude?
Not for me.
Not for me either.
Not for me, dude.
Couldn't agree more.
I don't want them.
I would hate
that. That would be awkward as fuck if just someone showed up at your house with a slave and you'd be like, dude, what the fuck? You can't have a fucking slave. Like, get out of here, dude. You can't have a slave in here. It's like, oh, come on, dude. What the fuck? I'll be so uptight. You're like, dude, you can't have
a southern dude bringing a slave to
just
like
someone came.
Like during I bet that had to have happened.
Oh, no doubt.
In like the Civil War time, like right when the North was like abolitionists, no more slavery.
There's still people who are just like, fuck it, you can't tell me not to have a slave. And they had a couple, they had like a little head stash. They're like, I got a couple fucking kicking around.
I got some guys back there. They have fun. What am I gonna do?
So Asians were like 6% or whatever it was, very low percentage of traffic fatalities. Black, white, Hispanic, all tied.
Wow.
Native Americans coming in hot at like 30 per
yeah.
It's per capita of race.
Yeah.
Native Americans are by far the leaders of fucking just dying.
That's sick.
I had no idea.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
You think so?
Number one, they booze hard as fuck.
True.
Most of them are depressed.
Yeah.
Most of them are poor. And they also live on areas where the speed limit's like 90 miles an hour.
That's true.
If they get into any type of accident, that car is fucking exploding every time, dude.
That's true. I feel like they're always driving with like a heavy metal wah-wah behind them, like, whee!
Yeah, dude, Indians love heavy metal.
No, that is true. That like nobody gives a fuck. That's like of all the SJW stuff going on right now, we definitely butt fuck the Native Americans.
The Native Americans?
Hardest.
Yeah,
dude.
well,
like insane.
You never see them.
You don't.
I just saw a bunch.
I don't want to see them.
I was just out in the desert.
I'm scared, dude.
When you see them, you remember. You're like, oh shit, my bad, dude.
Well, I don't know because I don't really see them much.
Yeah.
So like,
you never see them here.
Yeah, but when that must be like a real hard, like, oh fuck, dude. Wow.
Yeah. I was in Albuquerque. There was dudes like with literally like they have feathers on their hats. Like I saw dudes with like feathers hanging off their baseball hats.
And they can do like whatever they want, right?
I doubt it.
On the reservation, they can kind of do it.
The reservation, they can get wild.
It's lit on the reservation.
It gets real lit.
Yeah, because you can't like regular cops can't go onto the reservation.
I'd bet that's not true.
I mean, if they fucking want to, they'll do it.
They get scalped.
Yeah, if they want to, they'll do it. But apparently, you're not supposed to. Everything's supposed to go through like they have like a almost like a tribal government, quote unquote. But I mean, if the boys need to get on there, they're going on the fucking res. But apparently, they have to stay off the resi, dude.
Yeah.
They have to stay. I knew a guy who my bus driver in grade school, son, like chilled on an Indian reservation for a while, and he said it was like they like grow weed and shit, and you can do kind of whatever the fuck you want.
You had a bus driver tell you that?
Yeah, bus driver. When I was little.
You had a bus driver that told you his son grew weed on an Indian reservation?
He said, well, no.
And you held on to that until right now. Till this moment. You were like, it's time for me to finally break out this fact I've been storing for years, dude. For 20 years.
My bus driver told me his son was dating an Indian chick, a Native American.
Why were you talking to your bus driver?
My bus driver, Charlie, was like my favorite bus driver for sure. But he...
Why were you talking to him?
I used to sit up front and just chill and talk to the bus. He was the man. Because we used to get in trouble on the bus. Me and my cousin used to get kicked up to the front seat all the time.
And then it was just time to talk shop with Charlie.
We were on like a 1 year, me and my cousin got brought up to the front seat and were put on a full year front seat treatment where we had to sit in the front no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think we had this guy, Charlie, came on and took over for Cheryl, who looks exactly like
Cheryl, dude.
Who looks exactly like the bus driver from South Park.
Miss Crabtree. Right? Crabtree? Yeah.
So this guy Charlie, like we were like sitting up there talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, dude." Like I think it was like the first or second time, like sitting up front with him. He's like, "Dude, my son just moved to an Indian reservation. This girl has huge tits, dude. His girlfriend, I'm talking." He was like, "Dude, I remember him doing the hand signs. Be like, dude, this
doing the hand signs with tits, taking his hands off the steering wheel with the kids. That's awesome."
There was this big bump on Ivy.
What grade were you in?
I was in probably like 7th by then.
Damn.
I was old enough to appreciate like big fat titties.
Yeah, and you should appreciate that Charlie the bus driver was like talking to 7th graders. It's like, yo, my son's girlfriend's fat tits, dude. You would love them.